Mrs.情シスのミーがお送りします。情報セキュリティ10大脅威2025を英語で学ぶです。この動画では、独立行政法人情報処理推進機構が発表した、情報セキュリティ10大脅威2025の資料をもとに AI 等を活用して作成した動画です。英語の勉強の教材としてもぜひご活用ください。本日は、情報セキュリティ10大脅威2025組織編より、第1位のランサム攻撃による被害についての解説動画です。それではどうぞ。
Today we're breaking down what is, without a doubt, the number one digital threat that organizations are facing. We're talking about something that can literally shut a company down in a matter of hours. We are, of course, talking about ransomware. And we're going to get into exactly how these attacks work. So take a look at this. This comes from a recent Japanese cybersecurity report. And honestly, it perfectly captures the absolute chaos of a ransomware attack. You're looking at a digital blitz that just paralyzes everything, compromises data, and ends up costing millions. This isn't some far-off what-if scenario. It's a very real, very present danger for businesses everywhere, right now. So what is ransomware, really? Well, at its heart, you can think of it as a digital hostage situation. Some malicious software finds its way into your network and just locks everything up. Your files, your customer databases, basically everything you need to function. Then the attacker pops up, holding the key to unlock it all, and demands a huge payment to get your own data back. Now, you might be sitting there thinking your company's defenses are like Fort Knox, but here's the thing. Even the most secure digital fortresses have potential weak spots, and attackers, they are absolute masters at finding and exploiting them. So let's look at how they actually get in the door. You would be surprised at how common these entry points are. It could be a simple piece of software that wasn't updated, or maybe an insecure VPN that was set up for remote work. But you know the most frequent culprit? A simple phishing email. Yep, one single click on one bad link by one unsuspecting employee, and that's it. The floodgates are open. They really just prey on basic human error or a small technical oversight. Okay, so they're in. This is where the real damage starts. And you have to understand, this isn't just random chaos. It is a cold, calculated business operation designed for one thing: to squeeze the absolute maximum payment out of their victim. Their playbook is just ruthlessly efficient. First, they encrypt your data, which brings your entire business to a screeching halt. But here's the really nasty part. At the same time they're locking your files, they're also quietly stealing a copy of everything. This sets them up for a devastating 1-2 punch when it comes time to extort you. And this right here is where the whole game has completely changed. You know, a few years ago, the threat was pretty straightforward. Pay us or you'll never see your data again. But now, it's gotten so much worse. Attackers use what we call double or even quadruple extortion. They don't just threaten to keep your data locked. They threaten to leak your sensitive files publicly, to hit your website with an attack that knocks it offline, and sometimes even to call up your clients and partners to create maximum chaos and pressure. Look, this isn't just theory. The fallout from these attacks is devastating, and it is very, very real. Let's shift gears and look at a recent, high-profile case to see exactly how this plays out in the real world. So, back in June of 2024, a major Japanese publishing and media company called Kadokawa Corporation, well, they became a textbook example of a modern ransomware attack. And the damage went so far beyond just servers and systems. The human cost was staggering. In this one breach, the sensitive personal and corporate info of roughly 254,000 people was stolen. That's the real-world consequence right there. Hundreds of thousands of individuals just suddenly exposed. And if you look at the timeline, you can see the attacker's playbook in action, step by step. It all started with a phishing attack. From there, they deployed the ransomware, encrypted the servers. But then came that secondary attack, leaking some of the stolen data on social media to turn up the heat. Kadokawa's response had to be drastic. They suspended services and filed criminal complaints. The disruption was just massive. And make no mistake, Kadokawa was not an isolated case. We are seeing this happen everywhere. A life science institute had its data stolen and held hostage, with the attackers leaking bits and pieces just to prove they had it. In another case from June, a simple, weak VPN configuration led to a breach that affected over 10,000 people. The way in might be different, but the outcome is always the same: chaos. All right, so how on earth do you defend against something like this? The key is building a digital fortress, and not just one with high walls, but one with smart, proactive strategies built into its foundation. The absolute best defense is the one you set up long before an attack ever happens. You need an incident response plan ready to go. You have to train your people. They are your first and often best line of defense against phishing. Strengthen your authentication with things like multi-factor. And this is so crucial. Back up your data religiously. Using what's called worm media, that's write once, read many, can be a total lifesaver because it prevents the backups themselves from being encrypted by the attackers. But okay, let's say the worst happens anyway. You've been hit. You have to act, and you have to act fast. Immediately report it to the authorities. Bring in the cybersecurity experts. This is not a do-it-yourself kind of situation. Activate that incident response plan you prepared, and if you have them, start the process of restoring your systems from those clean, uninfected backups. All of this leads every single victim to the final, agonizing part of this whole nightmare, an impossible choice that has to be made under the most intense pressure imaginable. So here it is, the million-dollar question. Sometimes literally, you're against the clock, your business is down, and you have to decide, to pay or not to pay. And there is just no easy answer here. Paying might seem like the fastest way to get back online, but there is absolutely zero guarantee the criminals will actually give you your data back or that they won't leak it anyway. Plus, you're directly funding their next attack. But on the other hand, not paying could mean catastrophic business disruption, and your data could be lost forever. It is a true catch-22. Ultimately, when you talk to cybersecurity experts and law enforcement, they're pretty clear on this. Paying the ransom is a massive gamble. It emboldens attackers, it finances their next operation, and it gives you no certainty that your problem is actually solved. You might just be paying to become a target again down the road. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. After looking at all this, the tactics, the real-world consequences, the impossible choices, you have to ask yourself, is your organization truly prepared for its digital hostage moment? Because in the world we live in now, it's really not a question of if it will happen, but when.
グローバルな社会を楽しく生きる。そんな日々を送っていただきたく、この動画を作成しております。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございます。よろしければチャンネル登録、高評価をお願いいたします。